No sooner are we back, we are straight into a 3-game week. Better get in there for the midweek edition of Bold Predictions. Home double. The two teams I get asked about the most are Leeds and Ipswich. Obviously, I support Ipswich, and Leeds just seem to have absolute legions of supporters. The two clubs have found themselves in a fairly unlikely battle for automatic promotion in the Championship this season, but we are where we are, and it is what it is. As I forecast last week, the gap between Ipswich in second and Leeds in third did close slightly to 7 points this past weekend, but both sides dropped points and will be looking to return to winning ways this midweek round. Ipswich were well beaten in the Sky game at the weekend against a pretty polished looking West Brom side who slid up to fifth. Given that context, Leeds will probably likely be the more disappointed of the two, as they could only draw at managerless West Brom. Both sides return home on Wednesday night. Leeds face a Swansea side with 1 win in 6. Ipswich face a Millwall side with 1 win in 7. It may not be a massively bold start to the bold predictions, but let's dial up a home double and call Ipswich and Leeds to both win this midweek. Keep it tight. These 3-game weeks in the Championship always allow us to set little mini targets over the intense little periods of activity. The Holy Grail is obviously a really swift 9 points added to the total, and Norwich and West Brom are on for that after winning at the weekend. Not only are they on for that, they are 2 of 6 teams who could be on for a Fort Knox tight week as they go into game 2 of 3, already with 1 clean sheet in the bag. Now, West Brom are not, on the surface, a bold pick to grab a clean sheet at Cardiff. They're actually top of that particular ranking with 8, but Cardiff are only 2 points behind them in the Championship table. Norwich, on the other hand, is a bold as brass pick, as their shutout against QPR was actually their first in 8 games, and they haven't had an away clean sheet in the EFL since the end of August. The Canaries head off to Watford, who also scored 5 in their previous home game, but screw it, I'm going to do it anyway. Norwich and West Brom to keep clean sheets in their round 18 games. Men in black. I know you lot love talking about referees, well, moaning about them to be more specific, so we're going to do a ref pick. I've taken a look at the refereeing stats to find the most likely place to get plenty of yellow cards and maybe a penalty somewhere else. May I introduce to you a channel favourite. Welcome back, referee Stroud, the most yellow card happy ref on duty this round. He's got Southampton versus Bristol City on Wednesday night. Stroud has not had Southampton yet this season, but has had Bristol City twice already, doing their win at Millwall and their defeat at Leeds. The most likely ref to give a penalty this round is referee Barrett. He's got Sheffield Wednesday versus Leicester on Wednesday night. And although he's given penalties to the home side during his last 2 Premier League outings, he did give a penalty at Hillsborough already this season to Sunderland. Let's forecast plenty of bookings then at St Mary's and some in-the-box action at Hillsborough. I predict referee Stroud to give 6 or more yellows in Saints versus Bristol City, and referee Barrett to give another Hillsborough penalty in Sheffield Wednesday versus Leicester. Look, I think it's probably going to be a watch-along on Wednesday night rather than me being able to make it down to Ipswich versus Millwall in person. Come and join me then for the game, and we can add a little bit of extra fun by playing some match bingo. I've just got my card. Can I be the first to 1 line, 2 lines, or even a full house? I need a headed goal for Ipswich. That's more likely to be one of the centre-halves from a set play, isn't it? I need a Millwall attempt and a throw-in, amongst other things. That all looks good. What about this devious middle strip? Yellow card shown in a minute, ending in 2. Hey, fingers crossed on that one to be part of the £175 prize pot. Get involved over at Match Bingo by downloading the app or going via my link, matchbingo.co.uk/BBFC. Remember to play responsibly and that all Match Bingo's profits are shared with good causes. I am partnered up with the Stroke Association. At last. You don't want those winless streaks growing and growing, do you? Could we see any of the longest winless streaks in the division, though, get broken this midweek? QPR's run without a win has grown to the point it's got about 3 heads now. 12 games without a win for Rangers, going all the way back to September the 2nd. The Hoops welcome Stoke City to Loftus Road on Tuesday. Can they kill 3 birds with one performance? Namely, 12 without a win currently in the EFL. It's 3 without a win for new boss Marti Cifuentes. And no home win since March, for goodness sake. Huddersfield's run isn't nearly as bad, but it is still up to 5 matches without a win. They do, though, have a higher-ranking opponent in Sunderland, and they're facing them away at the Stadium of Light. It's actually 1 win 11 for Huddersfield, and you'll either laugh or cry when I tell you that that was against, guess who? Well, QPR, of course. Can we get ourselves a win for one of these two? It feels unlikely, so I think as bold as I can be with this is to predict that either QPR or Huddersfield will break their winless streak this midweek. Much expected. The hottest hand in the Championship right now is Sami Šmodić of Blackburn. He is top of the goal scoring charts with 11 and has scored 4 goals already across the 3 games in November. We know Blackburn are really good going forward, and Šmodić has the highest XG in the division. He's repaid his team for creating those chances by overperforming the 9.3 expected goals with a real world total of 11. Šmodić and Rovers are at home to a Birmingham side with no clean sheets in 9. It all seems too obvious, doesn't it? So we better throw in somebody with an underperformance on their XG to balance this out. Hadji Wright of Coventry, he was signed in part to replace the output of Victor Gyökeres. We'd have expected 7.7 goals so far from him on the basis of the quality of chances made for him, but he's only got 4 so far. Can he change that at home against a good Plymouth side, but one that really does not travel well? Let's back both the overperformer and the underperformer. I predict that Šmodić and Wright will both score this midweek. Playoff chase. Now, it's going to sound really boring, but hear me out. With the massive totals already on the board for Leicester and Ipswich, coupled with the fact that Leeds and Southampton in the next 2 spots are year 1 parachute teams and look very, very powerful, is that our final top 4? Now, that would only leave 2 playoff spots left over, and West Brom, they're looking mighty impressive at the moment. And with all of that crass logic added together, I've whittled it down to there being only 1 playoff place to play for. Preston currently hold the high ground in 6th, but they've got a tricky old trip up to Middlesbrough on Tuesday. We've already backed West Brom to get themselves a clean sheet at 7th placed Cardiff. Now, if I'm not my usual miles out, with all of that being said, it could be an opening for Hull City, as they are at home to Rotherham, who have lost 7 of their 8 away games so far in the Championship this season. This one depends on a lot of moving parts, but why not? Look, it's bold predictions after all, isn't it? I forecast that Preston will start the round in the playoff positions and Hull outside the playoff positions. By the end of the round, Hull will be in the playoff positions and Preston outside them. There you go. That is the bold predictions all done for round 18. Let me know what you think down there in the comments. Things move so quickly in a 3-game week, so make sure you're all caught up by clicking here to check out the hot takes from the weekend, and make haste, they will be ancient history very soon.